Hello everyone, welcome. This is a quick practice for all of you skiers, or even for all of you non-skiers. Just a brief little bit of stretching, lengthening to help balance out some of the common movements that we do in specifically Nordic skiing. Could be great for downhill skiing as well. So grab yourself a folded up towel or blanket if you can, just for a bit of padding. And we will get started seated. So if you want to sit on your shins, great. Or if you want to sit cross-legged and sit on your folded up blanket, then go ahead and do that. Let's just try to find a nice tall and easy spine. And we're just going to start with a few nice little neck stretches. So with your shoulders nice and broad, like you've got a big heavy coat on that's just kind of dropping your shoulders easily down away from your ears. You can bring your fingertips down to the ground, and then we'll let our left ear just drop over towards our left shoulder. And as you let your whole head lean over to the side, relax your jaw. So you're gonna let your teeth separate slightly. You can even let your whole face just kind of go slack. And you want to feel this nice lengthening along that whole right side of your neck and into the top of your shoulder. Now just hanging out there, and if it's like, whew, bit of an intense stretch, then just stick with that. If you'd like to add on a little bit, you can just kind of roll your nose and your chin slightly down towards your left armpit. And then back onto that ear stacking over your shoulder position. You could do that a couple times if you want. Keep your jaw nice and relaxed. And make sure you're breathing. So all of this stuff is great, but it's only really viable if you're still breathing. So make sure you've got some nice big breaths happening. Then bring your head back up to neutral. You can shake it out a little bit, and then we'll go to the other side. So right ear towards right shoulder. Heavy head, relaxed jaw. Let the bottom half of your jaw just kind of like, let it go. Deep breathing, so try to fill your lungs, really fill up every time, your rib cage expanding. Every exhale, you're breathing all of that air out. And now again here, if you want to take that little roll of your nose and your chin down towards your right armpit, you can, just shifting where that stretch is happening, and you can come back up. If you don't want to do it, don't do it, it's up to you. Maybe one more time if you were going with that kind of little quarter head roll. And then just come on back up through center. Good. Chin drops in towards your chest. I'll turn sideways. So you're just doing a tiny little lengthening out through your cervical spine, so the back of your neck. Chin drops in towards your chest. Let your head just slightly drop down. Come back up towards neutral. And then lengthen up through your nose. So you're not going to crinkle the back of your neck, but you're just going to lengthen out your neck and take a little peek up and open. You're going to probably feel some muscles in the front of your neck be like, whoa, got to kick into gear. Again, chin towards your throat, your chest. Just a nice little rounding forwards. Let the back of your neck go long. Back up towards neutral. And then that little bit of lengthening, doesn't have to be a very big movement, just to open up slightly through front of your neck. Good, back towards neutral. Let's come off of our seat. We'll come to hands and knees. And let's get that folded up blanket back underneath your knees. So you've got some cushioning underneath those knees. Swing your right leg forwards and get it between your hands. Okay. Shift your hips forward. So you're letting the weight of your pelvis sink towards that front foot. Now from here, you may want to have your back toes tucked or untucked. You can decide. I like tucked. It just feels a little more stable for me. And then we'll bring our hands up on top of that front thigh. So you're drawing your rib cage up on top of your pelvis, but you're trying to keep your hips really heavy. So we're going for some nice length and opening through our hip flexors. Check if you're like, way up here, and just easy, easy shoulders. Nice and easy, lots of breath, okay? So we're gonna work a little bit here in this sort of crescent lunge shape, working to get a bit more opening through those hip flexors, okay? So imagine that you're going to tuck your pelvis, like you're tucking your tailbone forward. So Your abdominals are gonna have to come back. Your tailbone's gonna come forwards, and your hips will draw back a little bit to do that. So we're gonna pull the tailbone forwards as much as you can. Little draw back of your abdominals. So you might feel an increased stretch in your hip flexors. Let's take an inhale. And then exhale, release, and just sink back into your front foot. Maybe you sink a little deeper. Let's do that again. Curl your tailbone underneath you like you're tucking your pelvis. A little bit of a rounding back through your abdominals. Really tuck, tuck, tuck your tail. Inhale. And then again, exhale, release, and sink even deeper into that front foot. Last time like that. Tuck the tailbone. Tuck your pelvis. Pull your abdominals back like your tailbone's trying to reach between your legs like a tail and forwards. Go for that tuck. Breathe in. And then sink your hips forwards. Breathe out. Good. Let's release our left hand down towards the ground. Kind of nice and wide, so maybe even slightly wider than your shoulder. Spin your chest towards the right, so you're getting a little rotation through your spine, and then reach your right arm straight up and open towards the ceiling. Big, broad chest. Take a few nice arm circles, so reach back through your fingertips, all the way down to the ground. Reach forwards, and then as you circle open to the ceiling, don't just throw your arm bones back behind you, but really try to rotate from the center of your sternum, from the center of your chest. And again, another big circle. Keep breathing. Again, as your arm reaches up, try to spin from your sternum towards that right side of your mat. And then all the way down. Hands come to your fingertips on either side of your front foot. Draw your hips back so you're stacked on top of your back knee. And we're going to flex these toes up towards the ceiling. Nice hamstring and calf stretch. We do want to have our hips fairly square here. So you can even look back and try to see your hip points nice and even with each other. And then take a few big, easy breaths in and out. Keep your shoulders soft, your face relaxed. One more deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, rebend that front knee just so that you can shift. You're going to take that back left foot and turn it a quarter turn over towards the right side of your mat. Okay, both hands to the inside of your front foot. And now again, you might have to kind of awkwardly wiggle, heel toe that foot out. We're going to stretch your front leg long. So I'm in this position, stacked on top of my shin, right leg straight, toes pointing to the ceiling, fingertips down. Now I'm kind of crawling out on this diagonal, kind of towards the inside of the right leg, kind of off on the diagonal slightly, and it's just a different angle of hamstring stretch. So you're going to feel maybe the sensation in a little bit of a different part of the back of your right leg. Again, a few nice big breaths there. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Really feel your entire rib cage breathing, so you're getting some movement between your ribs. Let's come on up out of that. So you're going to walk back up, shift however you need to, rebend your front knee, get that back foot behind you, and then swing on back to hands and knees. Now let's take a child's pose. So you can have your knees a little wider or closer together. You just kind of have to feel it out for yourself. And sink your hips back towards your heels. And then nice long arms and long waist, long spine. So you're kind of crawling your fingers out to the top of your mat to elongate through your waist and your spine. Now from here, let's walk our hands over towards the right side of your mat slightly. Really crawl along with your left hand and press your left hip out towards the left side slightly. So hopefully you're getting a little bit of stretch through maybe that left side of your waist, left side of your body. Then come on back through center and go to the other side. So hands over towards the left side of your mat. Really crawl your right hand a little bit further and then press your right hip slightly out to the right side and soften in. Pause there. Nice big breath. Now come on back through center and return to hands and knees. Let's take our left foot forwards and in between our hands. Make sure your back knee is cushioned up there. And then shift your weight forwards. So you're letting the weight of your pelvis sink towards your front foot. Walk on up to the top of your thigh. Draw your rib cage back so it stacks on top of your pelvis, and give yourself that little reminder to just chill out your shoulders. Let them go. Easy neck, easy face, easy shoulders. So here we go with those kind of little pelvis tucks and then releases to help lengthen out our hip flexors. All right? So your tailbone is trying to wrap underneath you and forwards as you really scoop back through your belly. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of a deeper stretch in the front of your right hip. Again, your hips draw back a little bit to do that. That's great. You want that. Inhale. And then exhale, release the tuck as you sink your weight into your front foot. Maybe you sink a little deeper. We'll do that 2 more times. Tailbone tucks. Go for the tuck. Go, 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 go. Pull your abdominals back. Scoop the pelvis under. Inhale. Sink forwards, release. Exhale. And last one. Go for the tuck. Round slightly through your lower back by drawing your abdominals back. Tuck, tuck, tuck. And exhale, sink forwards. Now release your right hand down. A little bit out to the side there. Take your left arm, open it towards the ceiling as you're rotating your chest. So again, it's not just chuck my arm behind me, but I'm trying to find some rotation through my spine. Rotate the sternum. From here, left arm starts to circle back and down, and then forwards, and then as you circle up towards the ceiling, remember that this is a twist happening from the chest, so rotate from the center of your chest. And then again, back and down, and forwards, and up and open. Find that nice spin of your chest, and then back and down. Let's take our fingertips to the floor, and now we're drawing our hips all the way back to stack on top of your right knee. That should be your back knee. We're lengthening our front leg as best as you can. It does not have to stretch all the way. If your hamstrings are tight, just go to the point where you feel a healthy stretch. Okay, we're not here to hurt ourselves. So flexing that front foot, whether your knee is bent or is totally straight, doesn't matter. Flex that foot a lot though. So you're getting some length through your Achilles and into your calf muscles. Okay? Hips are nice and even, and then check in with what's going on in your upper body. See if you can stay soft and spacious. So you got lots of room to breathe. Hang out there, feel what you feel. And you're just using what you need here. So you're not recruiting a bunch of extra like muscles and tension that's really being inefficient with your energy. So just use the bare minimum of what you need to maintain the shape and let everything else just chill out. Okay, let's rebend that left knee just so that we can turn our back foot, that quarter turn over towards that long left side of our mat. Hands come to the inside of my front foot. And now I'm stretching out that front leg nice and long again. Toes are still pointing up to the ceiling. Walking out with my hands kind of on that diagonal. I'm kind of walking towards that top right corner of my mat. Lengthening out. Keep that left foot, your front foot flexed. Again, this is just a different angle to get into some lengthening of our hamstring. So the back of that left leg. Just a slightly different place to kind of get in there. Nice deep breaths. One more round of breath. And then let's come on out of it. Walk your hands up. Rebend that front knee. Turn your back foot to the back of your mat. And release. Let's get our pillow or blanket out of the way and come into downward facing dog. So set up your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Your middle finger is pointing directly forwards. Let's tuck our toes. And now really press into the ground. So strong arms press into the ground. Lift up your knees off the mat and then start to shift your rib cage back towards your thighs, okay? You can let your heels soften down towards the ground. We're not trying to touch them to the mat, but you're just letting your heels get heavy, okay? Keep a little bend in your knees so that you can really work on lengthening your arms and lengthening your spine. Press the ground away from you. Let your head just hang so your neck is nice and easy. Keeping that nice long length in your arms and your spine. Let's take a little pedal of our feet. So let your right heel sink down towards the mat. Your right leg can extend or lengthen as far as it's willing to go. Your other leg can bend a little bit more. Pause for a nice big breath. And then switch. So left heel pedals towards the ground as your right knee bends a little bit more. Pause for a big round of breath. And once more on each side. Getting some nice length up the back of the leg into your calf and Achilles again. And switch other side. Good. Okay. Both feet neutral. Let's just walk our hands back towards our feet. You're coming into a forward fold and then right away bend your knees. And let's just roll on up through our spine. Come to a standing position. Now check your feet nice and parallel and right underneath your hips. Spread out your toes, okay? Stand tall, arms by your sides, okay? So just a few little chair pose kind of squats here, just to really check our tracking, that we're not knocking our knees inwards, we're not doing funny things, and we're really maintaining a really nice, stable, healthy alignment. So we're going to hinge at our hips. Draw your butt back, draw your hips back. Take a look at your kneecaps, make sure they are tracking over your middle two toes. Let your arms just glide forwards in your shoulder sockets and keep your abdominals lifting against your spine. So let's take an inhale breath right where we are. And then exhale, press into the ground with your feet to come back up to that nice, tall spine. Okay, we'll do that just 2 more times. Not a big deal. Hinge at your hips. Rock back into chair pose. Check that your knees are tracking in that nice center point of your foot over the middle 2 toes. Exhale, press into the ground. Stand tall. Last one. Breathe and rock back into chair pose. Now this time we're going to stay. Sweep your arms back behind you. Interlace your hands if you can. You can keep your elbows bent. Kind of just snuggle your shoulders back onto the back of your rib cage. And then we'll let our head tumble down. Keep your knees bent as much as you'd like. And just a nice little reach of your hands away from your shoulders and slightly away from your hips. Pause and breathe there. Let your head hang. This is like a nice little way of kind of like flossing out through your shoulders. And then release fingertips to the ground. Walk your hands forwards. And let's lower our knees to the mat. Shift on through to your seat. Now, if you have a hard time sitting straight up on top of your sitting bones, grab your blanket, get it back underneath you. So you've got a little elevation of your pelvis to hopefully allow you to find that nice tall spine. Now, tiny bit of work for our feet, and then we'll stretch out the hips a bit. So look at your feet, flex your ankles, draw your toes all the way back towards your shins. Keep your toes really awake and alive. And then point your ankles. Try to reach your toes down towards the ground. And then do that again. Flex your ankles, draw your toes back. And then point. Good, and now we're going to take some circles. So circle your feet away from each other, all the way up, in towards each other, and then back to that pointed position. Do that 2 more times, and if your feet are cramping up, I know, it's real, but this is so important to help keep our ankles strong, okay, stabilized, awake, alive. Let's circle in the opposite direction. So if you need to stop, shake out the cramp, and then come back to it, do it. Okay, we've got about 2 more big circles in the opposite direction. Draw as big of circles with your toes as you possibly can. 1 more. And shake it out. Let it go. Good. Okay. Stay sitting on your blanket if you want. I'm just going to turn to face you. Let's take our left leg straight out towards the side, kind of more on a diagonal, but best as you can. And your right knee is bent. Okay? Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take that left hand, crawl it down to the left side, and just sweep yourself up and over with that right arm straight over to the side. Check if that other hip popped up off the ground. Try to keep it anchored to the floor. And now we're just going to breathe some big, huge, deep breaths into your right side waist and your right side ribs. So if I was to put my hand, or someone was to come and put their hand on your right side ribs, I'd actually feel them expand as you breathe. 1 more deep, deep breath there. Breathe all the way in. Keep reaching, breathe all the way out. Now lift up just slightly. Turn and rotate your chest towards that left leg. You can bring your right fingertips down. And then you're going to kind of round forwards, crawl your fingertips long, reach out over that left leg. Now big, huge breaths into the back of your rib cage. 1 more full breath all the way in and all the way out. Roll back up, and let's switch sides. Right leg out to the side, left knee is bent, both sitting bones onto the ground. And then take that right hand, crawl it away from you. Left arm is going to take that big stretch up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over into this nice big side bend. Again, keep that left hip anchored to the floor, not popping up off the ground. Try to stretch away from your left hip. Make more space between your rib cage and your pelvis. Big breaths. Remember, if someone had their hand on your left side ribs, they'd actually feel them expanding. Good. Now come back up just slightly so that you can rotate your belly, your chest towards your right leg. That left hand can come down. And then you're reaching up and over, up and over, up and over that right leg as best as you can. Deep breath again into the back of your rib cage. 1 or 2 deep breaths. Give it all you've got. And then roll yourself back up. And let's get that pillow or blanket out from underneath you. And we'll roll on down onto our back. So you can just hold on to the backs of your thighs if you want to help control that descent down. Lying all the way down, supine. And then let's pick up our right foot. Squeeze your right knee in towards your chest. You can give it a nice little circle, one way then the other. And then let's cross our right ankle over top of our left thigh. So we're making this sort of number 4 figure 4 shape. Flex that right foot. Okay? Now we're drawing our hands to the back of the left thigh. Okay, kind of like underneath your knee. And then using a little bend of your elbows to kind of pull in slightly to find your edge of stretch in your right hip. Check that your head's kind of popped off the floor. You want to keep your neck nice and easy, so almost like relax your throat down towards the ground. I know it's a funny cue, but it'll just keep the front of your neck nice and easy and soft. Hang out and breathe. Deep breaths. If you want to go deeper, you bend your elbows out to the sides a little bit more. Let's breathe in one more round of breath. And then release the back of your thigh. Place that left foot to the ground. Stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. Give your ankle a little wiggle. Give your leg a little shake. And then place your foot to the floor. Okay, other side. So squeeze your left knee in towards your chest. Give it a nice big circle one way. Then the other way. And then let's cross the ankle over the right thigh. Again, remember to really flex the ankle here. So you're drawing your toes back towards your shin. Hands grab underneath your right knee. Take that little bend of your elbows out to the sides to find your edge of stretch. Try to feel the back of your chest and shoulders nice and broad on the ground. So again, just like I said with the head and the neck popping off the floor, try to keep the shoulders from hunching off the ground and really sink them back down into the mat. Deep, deep breaths. Find that stretch. Maybe 1 or 2 more rounds of your breath. And then release your right foot down onto the ground. Send your left leg up to the ceiling. Roll out the ankle. Shake out the leg. And then both feet flat onto the ground. Okay, so here let's have our feet flat on the ground. And you're just going to pop your heels up off the floor. So you're kind of on the metatarsals of your feet. And let's take our arms straight out to the sides like a big T-shape, palms of your hands. Get some space here. Palms of your hands open towards the ceiling. And then really press the backs of your arms into the ground. Now we're going to take our legs over towards the right side of your mat first. As you let your legs swing over, try not to let your knees separate, your knees slide apart. So you want to keep that kind of nice hug. Left knee and right knee stay together the entire time as you take them all the way over. So you're coming into a nice twist here. Once your legs find the ground, press into the ground with your knees and then press into the ground, especially with that left arm. So you're getting a nice oppositional stretch across your body in this nice twist. So a nice spinal release here. Big broad chest. Try to anchor down through that left arm, through the back of your left shoulder. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now from your belly, from your abdominals, try to gather yourself back towards your starting position. And then we'll go to the other side. So you're up on your toes. Roll on over. Draw your legs towards the left. Make sure those kneecaps stay together exactly as they were in the center. Bring your legs all the way over towards the left. Find the ground. And then with the back of that right arm, press into the ground. Anchor your knees into the floor and then reach out. Press down through your right arm, right shoulder. Okay? Again, it's this nice sort of cross, lateral, reach, twist, stretch, all the good stuff. Wringing yourself out. Breathe deep. Last breath here. And then again, from your abdominals, kind of gathering back towards your spine, bring yourself back to your neutral position. And last thing we'll do, give your knees a nice hug into your chest. Squeeze them in nice and tight. Rock a little bit from side to side. Give your low back a nice little massage there. Big inhale breath, exhale. Scoop your head, your forehead up towards your knees. Get nice and small, like a tight little ball. Inhale breath. And then exhale, let yourself release. And you can stretch out like a big starfish on the ground. And hang out here as long as you like, finding that nice rest position. I'm going to leave you here though. So thanks for tuning in and thanks for practicing. Namaste.